Every morning, countless women experience the same frustrating pattern. You open your eyes, and before your feet even touch the floor, the coughing begins. There's thick mucus sitting in your throat. You find yourself clearing it again and again, and somewhere in the back of your mind, a question forms: is this just part of getting older? Let's pause that thought immediately. No, it is not simply age. If you are over 60 and this is happening daily, pay close attention. Your body is not randomly failing you, it is communicating. That mucus is a signal. The issue is not that something is wrong beyond repair, the issue is that no one has clearly explained what the signal means. Meanwhile, pharmaceutical companies continue to profit from cough syrups, lozenges, and sprays that provide temporary relief at best. The goal is not to solve the root cause. The goal is repeat customers. Here's what most people are never told. The underlying reasons for persistent morning mucus are often manageable and, in many cases, correctable. You could be reacting to an environmental trigger without realizing it. Stomach acid may be rising into your throat while you sleep. You might simply be dehydrated. These are not mysterious problems. They are common, and many have practical solutions. In this video, we will explore the 8 most frequent causes of excessive morning mucus in women over 60 and discuss natural steps you can take to address them. A quick note. The 4th cause deserves special attention. The American Thoracic Society has linked it to a significant increase in serious lung conditions after the age of 65. Every study referenced is listed in the description so you can review the evidence yourself. Solid science, straightforward information. Before we begin, tell me your age and where you are watching from. Your comments help shape future topics and allow this community to learn from one another. Now let's begin with number 8. It is extremely common, yet most people have no idea they are dealing with it. Number 8. Allergies triggering mucus that slides down the throat. One of the most common reasons older women deal with daily mucus and coughing is post-nasal drip caused by allergies. The name sounds complicated, but the process itself is straightforward. Excess mucus forms in the nose and sinus passages. Instead of flowing out through the nostrils like a typical runny nose, it travels downward along the back of the throat. As that mucus drips, it irritates the throat and airway, triggering frequent coughing and constant throat clearing. After the age of 60, this problem often becomes more noticeable because the lining of the nose and throat grows thinner and less efficient. Mucus does not move as easily as it once did, so it lingers longer and causes more irritation. Here is something many people find surprising. Allergies do not necessarily disappear with age. In many cases, they shift. You may suddenly react to dust, animal dander, or certain plants you have lived around for decades without any previous issues. A large study published in the Journal of Allergy and Clinical Immunology found that nearly 30% of adults over 60 develop new allergies later in life. The problem is that these reactions often look different. Instead of sneezing or itchy eyes, the main symptoms are mucus buildup and coughing. Because of this, doctors frequently overlook allergies and attribute the symptoms to smoking history or normal aging. Take Linda, for example, a 69-year-old retired mail carrier. For 6 months, she woke up every morning clearing her throat nonstop. She assumed it was just something that came with getting older. Eventually, she was tested and discovered she had developed a dust allergy. She added a quality air purifier to her bedroom and began using a gentle saltwater nasal rinse each night. Within 2 weeks, her mucus levels dropped dramatically. It was not a lung issue at all. It was her immune system reacting to dust. Simple steps such as nasal rinses, improving air quality in the bedroom, or reducing dairy intake, which can thicken mucus, often make a noticeable difference. Unfortunately, many women endure these symptoms silently because they believe morning coughing is unavoidable with age. Allergies create mucus from above. The next cause comes from below, involving digestion and dietary factors that make mucus thicker and harder to clear. Number 7. Stomach acid rising at night. GERD. Another hidden cause of persistent morning coughing in older women is acid reflux, often referred to as GERD. Many people associate reflux strictly with heartburn, a burning sensation in the chest. But in women over 60, it often shows up in a completely different way. Instead of noticeable discomfort, stomach acid slowly moves upward during sleep. As this acid reaches the throat and airways, it causes irritation. In response, the body produces thick mucus as a protective barrier. That is why you may wake up coughing and clearing your throat even though you never experienced classic heartburn symptoms. Consider Joyce, a 67-year-old retired mechanic. She became self-conscious about constantly clearing her throat. After meals, she would cough so frequently that she stopped meeting friends for dinner. She assumed it was simply part of aging. Eventually, her doctor explained that stomach acid was rising during the night, coating her throat. Her body was creating mucus to defend against that irritation. She made a few practical changes. She reduced portion sizes at dinner, stopped drinking coffee after late afternoon, and elevated the head of her bed by placing books under the frame. Within a few weeks, her morning cough nearly disappeared. The explanation is clear. Stomach acid is powerful. It is designed to break down food, not to contact delicate throat tissue. When even small amounts reach upward, the body responds by producing mucus to protect itself. Over time, this creates a pattern. Acid exposure at night leads to heavy mucus the next morning. There are straightforward strategies that can help interrupt this cycle. Choose lighter evening meals, avoid spicy or acidic foods before bedtime. Sip calming herbal teas such as chamomile. Elevate the head of your bed slightly to reduce nighttime reflux. For many older women, these small adjustments significantly reduce symptoms without the need for strong medications. While reflux produces mucus by irritating from below, the next cause works differently. It weakens internal defenses, leaving mucus as the body's primary line of protection. Number 6. Your medications could be the hidden cause. Here is something many women never suspect. The mucus and coughing you experience each morning may not be originating from your lungs at all. The source could be sitting in your medicine cabinet. As the years pass, prescriptions tend to increase. Medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, heart conditions, along with common over-the-counter remedies, often become part of daily life. Each of these carries potential side effects, and one of the most frequent is persistent coughing accompanied by excess mucus. A well-known example involves ACE inhibitors, widely prescribed for high blood pressure. Research published in the New England Journal of Medicine reports that up to 20% of individuals taking ACE inhibitors develop a chronic cough with mucus. The reason lies in a chemical called bradykinin. These medications increase bradykinin levels, which can irritate the airways and stimulate additional mucus production. Women are affected nearly twice as often as men by this particular side effect. Unfortunately, the connection is sometimes overlooked. Instead of identifying the medication as the trigger, the cough is treated as a new and separate condition. Another prescription is added. Over time, the number of medications grows while the original cause remains unaddressed. The encouraging news is that once the link is recognized, the solution is often straightforward. If your symptoms began after starting a new prescription, bring this up with your doctor. In many cases, switching to a different medication or adjusting the dosage significantly reduces or eliminates the cough. Staying well hydrated, using soothing herbal teas, and throat lozenges may ease discomfort, but identifying the responsible medication is the key step. While certain prescriptions can quietly stimulate mucus production, the next cause is more direct. It involves lingering effects from past exposures that may still be influencing your lungs today. Number 5. Lingering effects of past smoking. For many older women, the morning cough is not a recent development. It has been part of life for years and is often tied to a history of smoking, even if that habit ended decades ago. Cigarette smoke leaves permanent changes in the lungs. Inside the airways are microscopic, hair-like structures called cilia. Their role is to sweep mucus and debris upward and out, acting as a natural cleaning system. Smoking damages these delicate structures. Once impaired, they do not fully recover. When they cannot move mucus efficiently, the body compensates by producing more of it. That is why a woman who smoked in her 20s or 30s may still wake up coughing in her 70s. The effects of earlier exposure do not simply vanish with time. Consider Diane, age 73, a former school bus driver. She stopped smoking 15 years ago and felt proud of that decision. Her stamina improved and breathing became easier. Yet every morning she continued to cough up thick mucus. Her physician explained that while quitting significantly reduced her risk of serious disease, the years of smoking had permanently weakened her cilia. With that natural cleaning mechanism compromised, her lungs relied more heavily on mucus to trap and remove irritants. The mechanism is straightforward but unforgiving. Smoke disrupts the lungs' internal clearing system. Without fully functioning cilia, mucus accumulates and must be expelled through coughing. Even after years without smoking, the structural damage remains. Still, improvement is possible. Adequate hydration helps thin mucus, making it easier to clear. Gentle breathing exercises can strengthen lung function. Green tea contains antioxidants that may reduce airway inflammation. Pulmonary rehabilitation programs, even for individuals who quit long ago, can improve breathing efficiency and quality of life. Although scarring cannot be erased, lung health can still be supported. While prior smoking leaves lasting consequences, the next factor can be even more challenging. It involves an immune system that gradually loses strength and struggles to defend against infections as effectively as it once did. Number 4. Chronic bronchitis or COPD. When a woman over 60 wakes up every single day coughing up mucus without exception, one of the more serious possibilities is chronic bronchitis or COPD. These conditions do not appear suddenly. They develop gradually over many years, often as a result of smoking, long-term exposure to pollution, or repeated respiratory infections. There is a pattern that raises concern. If you are producing mucus and coughing most days of the month for at least 3 months in a year, and this repeats year after year, it may signal something more than a temporary issue. By the time this rhythm becomes obvious, significant changes inside the lungs have often already occurred. Consider Evelyn, age 75, who worked for decades in a factory. At first, she assumed her persistent morning cough was related to allergies. But the months passed, then an entire year, and the mucus never let up. It continued through every season, even during visits to her daughter in a different climate. Eventually, she was diagnosed with chronic bronchitis. In her case, the constant mucus was not just an inconvenience. It was a sign that her airways were chronically inflamed and under strain. Inside the body, chronic bronchitis and COPD cause ongoing inflammation and scarring in the airway lining. The tiny cilia that normally help sweep mucus out become damaged or destroyed. Without that natural clearing system, the lungs respond by producing even more mucus as a protective measure. This creates a difficult cycle of coughing, breathlessness, and increasing congestion. According to the Global Initiative for Chronic Obstructive Lung Disease, these conditions cannot be fully reversed, but they can be managed effectively. Avoiding smoke and environmental irritants is essential. Staying well hydrated helps thin mucus so it is easier to clear. Gentle breathing techniques such as pursed lip breathing can improve airflow. Inhale through the nose, then exhale slowly through pursed lips as if blowing out a candle. Anti-inflammatory foods like turmeric and dark leafy greens may support lung health. If pulmonary rehabilitation is recommended, participating can lead to meaningful improvements in breathing capacity and daily function. While chronic bronchitis and COPD reflect long-term lung damage, the next cause can intensify symptoms quickly. Something as simple as not drinking enough water can make mucus thicker and far more difficult to clear. Number 3. Not drinking enough water. At times, the daily mucus and coughing you experience are not caused by illness at all. The underlying issue may be simple dehydration. As the body ages, it becomes less efficient at conserving fluid. The sensation of thirst diminishes. Kidney function gradually slows. If you take diuretics or other medications that remove excess fluid, you may lose even more water. The result is mild but persistent dehydration that often goes unnoticed. When fluid levels drop, the consistency of mucus changes. Under normal conditions, mucus is thin and slippery, allowing it to move easily through the airways. Without adequate hydration, it thickens. It becomes sticky and dense, clinging to the throat and bronchial passages. That heavier mucus is far more difficult to clear, leading to repeated coughing each morning. The explanation is straightforward. Mucus is composed largely of water along with proteins and salts. When hydration decreases, the water portion declines and what remains becomes concentrated and glue-like. This thicker mucus traps dust and microorganisms more easily, increasing irritation in the throat. The irritation triggers more coughing, which in turn can inflame the airways further. Research published in the Journal of the American Geriatrics Society highlights how dehydration significantly affects mucus consistency and respiratory comfort in older adults. The corrective steps are simple yet effective. Sip water consistently throughout the day rather than consuming large amounts at once. Include water-rich foods such as cucumbers, oranges, and watermelon in your meals. Limit alcohol and caffeine, as both contribute to fluid loss. Even a warm cup of herbal tea in the evening can help thin secretions and reduce the severity of morning coughing. While dehydration gradually thickens mucus, the next factor is less visible. It involves changes in the immune system that make mucus a primary line of defense. Number 2, your immune system is slowing down. Another reason persistent mucus becomes such a daily struggle after 60 is that your immune system no longer responds the way it once did. With age, the body's protective defenses gradually lose efficiency. Physicians refer to this process as immunosenescence, a term that simply describes the aging of the immune system. In practical terms, it means bacteria, viruses, and environmental irritants remain in your body longer. The immune response that once cleared them quickly now works more slowly. When those irritants linger in the throat and lungs, the body relies more heavily on mucus as a protective barrier. That is why you may produce ongoing mucus even when you do not feel actively ill. Research supports this pattern. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Investigation found that older adults generate fewer infection-fighting immune cells, and the cells they do produce respond less efficiently. This slower defense allows microorganisms to persist in the airways, increasing irritation and stimulating excess mucus production. There is another age-related process called inflammaging. This refers to chronic low-grade inflammation that develops over time. It can overstimulate mucus glands, causing them to produce more secretions than necessary. The result is a frustrating cycle of mucus buildup, coughing, fatigue, and continued irritation. Although these changes are natural, there are ways to support immune health. Focus on nutrient-rich foods such as oranges, leafy greens like spinach, and legumes. Maintain regular physical activity. Even moderate walking encourages immune cells to circulate more effectively. Prioritize restful sleep, since the immune system repairs and strengthens itself during deep sleep. Supporting gut health through yogurt or probiotics may also help, as digestive health influences respiratory function more than many people realize. While a declining immune response can prolong mucus production, the number one cause on our list carries greater concern. It involves a risk that extends beyond simple congestion and may signal more serious lung conditions developing quietly over time. Number 1. Sleep apnea or undetected lung infections. The most serious and frequently overlooked reason many older women wake up coughing up mucus each day is undiagnosed sleep apnea or a lingering lung infection. Both conditions are more common in seniors than most people realize, and both can silently strain the lungs while driving excess mucus production. Sleep apnea occurs when the airway repeatedly narrows or collapses during sleep. Breathing stops and starts again, sometimes dozens or even hundreds of times in a single night. Each interruption places stress on the body. That repeated stress triggers inflammation inside the airways, and inflammation stimulates mucus as a protective response. What makes this especially difficult to recognize is that many women over 60 experience what is often described as silent sleep apnea. They may not snore loudly, so family members never suspect a problem. According to research published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society, nearly 30% of women over 65 have sleep apnea without realizing it. Instead of extreme daytime fatigue, they may simply wake up with persistent coughing and thick mucus. During the night, their airways struggle for oxygen, and mucus becomes the body's attempt to protect and lubricate those irritated passages. Consider Grace, a 72-year-old retired librarian. She felt embarrassed by her heavy morning cough and assumed it was just part of aging. It was not until her son encouraged her to undergo testing that she discovered she had moderate sleep apnea. Further evaluation revealed a bacterial lung infection that had been quietly present for months. Once she received appropriate treatment, her coughing decreased and the mucus gradually improved. What she believed was normal aging turned out to be two underlying medical issues. While supportive habits such as staying well hydrated, eating nutrient-dense foods, and slightly elevating the head during sleep can help, these conditions require proper medical evaluation. Persistent mucus that does not improve with simple lifestyle adjustments should not be dismissed. It may be a sign that the body is signaling something more significant. Sleep apnea and hidden lung infections rank first on this list because their impact extends beyond mucus. Left untreated, they increase the risk of hospitalization, cardiovascular complications, and lasting lung damage. Identifying and addressing them early can be the difference between gradual decline and reclaiming your breathing capacity and independence. If there's one thing I hope you take away from today, It's this. Waking up every morning coughing and clearing thick mucus is not something you simply have to accept because you're over 60. Your body is not betraying you. It is communicating with you. Sometimes the cause is simple, like dehydration or allergies. Sometimes it is something that needs medical attention, like sleep apnea or a hidden infection. But in every case, mucus is a message. And when you listen early, you give yourself the power to protect your lungs, your energy, and your independence. Aging does not mean ignoring symptoms. It means responding wisely. It means asking better questions. It means choosing small daily habits that strengthen your body instead of assuming decline is inevitable. If this video helped you see your symptoms in a new light, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what we share next. We are building a community where getting older means getting informed, staying proactive, and breathing easier year after year. Share this with a friend who clears her throat every morning and thinks it's just part of life. And let me know in the comments what topic you'd like us to cover next. Because your health story is not finished. And the more you understand your body, the stronger your next chapter can be.